Oh, do get a move on, Joe.
You realise we've woken Uncle Bulgaria again?
You have, you mean?
Can't you make less noise? Call yourself nurses, more like baby elephants.
Well, come on.
No, hold it. You want to get up in the morning?
So I'm dreaming I'm on this bus then, am I?
Sorry, I spoke.
Talk to me instead.
Oh, I was round St Angela's earlier on this morning, in Kaz.
Drinking tea and cadging fags.
Is she always like this in the morning?
She's like that all the time.
Remind me never to land in her ward.
We don't take blue bottles.
See ya.
Ta. Not bad. Dare say I could make something of it.
Oh, I hope we don't have much work today.
Yeah, my feet are hurting already. I think I've got a bunion.
No.
Good morning, girls.
Morning.
All right?
Yeah.
Did you know I'm lucky to be alive? Rather. You wouldn't think it, would you?
No, here we go again.
Well, you know, I had one of those hysteria finger bombs, you know what they call it. But I'm as right as rain now. Oh, frisky as a kitten. I'm honestly, you ask my old man. Honestly. And who's it all through? You lot. You deserve medals. You have an orange instead, will you?
Thank
Yeah,
you.
one for you.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you. Goodbye, lads. I'm getting off here if they let me.
Come on.
It's nice to be appreciated.
Prefer a rise.
Oh, Ruth, Miss Practical.
Oh, look who's here. Well, she's late till we're soon. Oranges.
Let's catch her up.
Crawler. It's the only way I'll ever get on. Sorry.
So, best foot forward this morning. Everything's spruce and clean by 10.
Mr. Cooper won't be on time, he never is.
Doesn't mean to say we shouldn't be.
No, sister.
Oh, that's all I need. I'd forgotten it was consultants' rounds.
Everything clean and spruce by 10. You'd think old Cooper was God or something.
He is to her.
Well, I'll tell you somebody he's definitely not God to.
Who?
You're Mr. Collins.
He's not my Mr. Collins.
Han Clayton now. Gwelwch a big bronwyn ar y ferch hon. Oh, dear. It's the best jet. The best jet. Here, Mr. Johnson. Get a knifeful of her. Oh, look at that, Mr. Johnson. Hey, as nature intended, sweet as a nut.
Very nice.
Oh, I bet she'd get you back on your feet, eh, Mr. Johnson? Oh. Here, like a gander, Mr. Collins. Straight for sore eyes she is, boy.
No, thank you.
Go on, man, it'll do you good. Oh, God knows he could do with something to back him up, see?
Rubber! Stand by your bets.
And about time, too. Let's see what you got for us today, then.
Get out of it.
Patients last on the list, as per usual.
Yeah, well, you're not a bit important. I mean, you're all thereabouts, aren't you?
This all you're having, Mr. Collins?
Yes.
You can have solids now, you know. Have a good night, did you, Mr. Johnson?
Always do, my dear. Could sleep on a clothesline.
Snore on what he means. Do you waken the dead, he does?
My wife never complains.
I was talking about snoring.
Now, Mr. Slingsby.
Here, come here. I'll show you something to make you jealous. Well, come on. Not many of those for £1, eh, nurse?
Don't know what you're going on about, Mr. Slingsby. She's got nothing I haven't got.
Oh, do you hear that, Mr. Johnson?
Terrible, isn't he, Mr. Collins? Oh, why did I have to go and pick him for a case history? Ask me that. I want my head examining.
Well, you thought he might be a challenge. Another one.
Don't be sarky, Thorman. It doesn't suit you.
Breakfast done and dusted?
Nearly, sister.
Now, bed's next. Oh, and will you do the drips as you're going round, Nurse Fullman? You've time before your coffee break.
Oh, I'll never finish, sister.
Try.
Yes, sister.
Nurse Longhurst? The matter of interest, why did you choose Mr. Collins as your case history?
It just seemed interesting, that's all.
Well, that's a common enough operation these days, vagotomy.
Well, he seemed interesting when he came in.
Well, you'll have to do at least half a dozen case histories before you're trained, nurse. Hope they're not all going to prove so trying.
You've no need to worry. I'm not going to get
involved again? That what you were going to say?
Well, he'll hardly even talk to me. I mean, how can I get him?
Nurse, the point of a case history is for you to get to know the personal side of a patient's problems, so you can learn to treat them as individuals. Well, you can hardly do that if they won't cooperate. I think you better drop him. Pick somebody else. Ward 14. Who? Oh, yes, Mr. Langham. I see.
What did she want?
Can't you guess?
You're showing every sign you are, Longhurst. Like you had measles.
I am not getting myself involved with Mr. Collins.
Shh.
They found out where all this stuff was coming from. And there was this grotty tube, as clear as day. So every day they have to shorten the tube by about half an inch, just cut a bit off the end. And eventually there's nothing left. By which time they shouldn't be discharging anymore. Oh, you should have seen what was coming out last week. Oh. Still, it's not doing too badly now, though. I told Mr. Cooper I could even try drinking my tea out of it. He laughed. Well, he's all but rearranged my plumbing, that fella, as you know. I think he finds me a very interesting case.
Mail's in, Mr. Slingsby. Want to do the rounds for me?
Give us it here, then. What did your last slave die of, eh?
Come on, Mr. Johnson. Let's make you comfortable.
Can I tidy your bed, please, Mr. Collins?
You have to.
You know I do. A tidy bed is a happy bed, according to Sister Easby. The bathroom's empty. You've got time if you want a bath. Wash as much as you can without getting your dressing wet.
I don't need a bath.
It'll make you feel much fresher. Honestly. It gets very hot in here. Don't you like being in hospital, Mr. Collins?
Oh.
No. Can't say I blame you. Must get very boring. Same old routine every day. What was your job, Mr. Collins? Mr. Collins?
Look, what is this? Chat up the patient session?
Just trying to be friendly, that's all.
Nurse,
Yes?
there is one thing that you could do for me.
What?
You can stop that twit forever talking about his condition and him there snoring all night long.
Keep you awake, does it?
It's like trying to sleep in the middle of a barrel organ.
Well, you could ask for another sleeping pill
Why should I?
to get some sleep.
I'd get some if he'd stop snoring.
I can't stop him snoring now, can I?
How many sleeping tablets did you say I could have?
Oh, well, two. Two should be sufficient.
2. You must have hundreds in that drug trolley you push about. Now, a dozen would really stop me having to listen.
What?
Have a look at this. Nurse.
What?
Who's done that?
Do you think? Oh, Furbank, just like her.
Anything wrong?
Oh, no, it's nothing, Mr. Johnson. You better get it washed off quick before Cooper sees it.
Don't you think it looks a bit like somebody we know?
Who?
Grumbleguts Collins.
What's the hold-up?
Nothing, sister.
You're getting behind. You haven't even started on the pre-med yet. Mr. Grant's due in the theatre at 12. You see to it, Nurse Foreman.
Oh, but sister,
Now.
Yes, sister.
Oh, and before I forget, the glass for Mr. Cooper. All right, Mr. Collins? Mr. Collins?
Is that a positive question, sister?
Pardon?
All right, Mr. Collins, is that a positive question prompting a positive answer? All right, Mr. Collins, all right, sister, you see.
It was just a polite inquiry.
Ah, was it? Well, the answer is no, I am not all right.
What's the matter?
Sister, I've got yards of catgut inside of me, and this is a human body, not a violin.
Yes, Mr. Collins.
And another thing.
Yes?
You can tell that little nurse of yours to stop playing Florence Nightingale because, for one thing, she's very bad at it.
Which nurse would that be?
You know which one I mean.
Well, there are several nurses on the ward, Mr. Collins.
The one with the yak.
There's Nurse Pullman, Nurse Dinn, Nurse...
Longhurst.
Oh, Nurse Longhurst.
The same.
Sorry, taken.
Yeah, I'm sure I've got a bunion. Don't know how you can eat them.
Keeps the energy up. God knows I need it.
What was with you and Mr. Collins just now? Did you have a good time last night?
What was due with Roy?
Yeah, lasting, isn't it?
5 weeks and 3 days.
Pity's not a doctor.
There are other kinds of men in the world besides doctors, you know. Had another go at Collins this morning.
And?
I think he asked me to help him kill himself.
Kill himself? Don't be daft.
Maybe not. No, I've been thinking, the only visitor he ever gets is that old man.
Where's his dad?
He's married.
Oh, he's likely divorced or separated or something.
Perhaps that's why he's so uptight with everyone. Unhappy love life.
Who hasn't?
Ah, you're still pining for Dr. Carl.
No,
You are.
I'm not.
Poor Frank Crozier hasn't had a look in since lovely Carl appeared on the scene.
Rubbish.
You know what they call him, don't you?
No what? Sugar?
Have a toffee, Carl. I wonder if I should try and get him to talk about his home life.
Who can't?
No, Collins.
It's not your business.
He's my case history.
It's not your business.
Why isn't it my business? Even if he wasn't my case history, it's still my job.
Yeah, well, that's one excuse.
He's miserable. Dead miserable.
Oh, like you had measles.
Oh, shut up. What's the point?
Well, what's the point?
And that is where the blockage was, you see. So they cut all that out. And they joined up those two ends. And they made a sort of bypass. Gee, it's a good thing we've got, 40 feet of intestines. At least it's a good job I have. Mr. Cooper's all but done a conversion job on my inside.
But I've already written about 5 pages and it's got to be in by next week.
Pick somebody else up for your case history. Look, I'll have a word with your tutor if you like. Mr. Collins obviously won't cooperate, so pick somebody else. It makes sense, nurse.
But I only asked him what his job was. Well, honestly, I have to find out things. how he feels, what sort of personality.
He's a difficult personality, a difficult patient. We'll discuss it later, nurse. Mr. Cooper's about to do his round.
Good morning, sister.
Good morning, Mr. Cooper.
Do you know, I nearly ran into a fox on my way in this morning. A fox in a London suburb. Incredible. They feed out of the dustbins, you know. Still, I suppose you come across the odd tiger in Calcutta, eh, Dr. Khan? And they feed off the population. Well, let's get on with it, shall we? Nothing more to tell me, have you, Dr. Khan?
Oh, it's about Mr. Lucas.
Ah,
Well, his
yes.
foot pulses are all present now, but his heart. I have given him some digoxin and diuretics, but he hasn't responded. He complained of chest pains yesterday, so I have taken an ECG.
Yes, poor old Mr. Lucas. I was expecting this.
He had a very restless night.
I'm not surprised.
Oh, and Mr. Challoner will just not stay in bed. He insists on sitting in his chair.
He's a stubborn old so-and-so, isn't he? I wonder if I'll get all cross and tetchy in my old age. Very probably.
Mr. Challoner's not the only one. I'm afraid Mr. Collins is in much the same category.
Ah, Mr. Collins, our resident neurotic. Well, platoon forward. Good morning.
This is Philip Cole. 10 days since his appendicectomy. He has made an uneventful recovery.
Right. Philip, isn't it? Well, you look well enough anyway. Do you mind if I have a look at you? Ah, no more pain?
No.
And no tenderness there? Hmm?
No.
Excellent. Well, I think he can go home tomorrow. What do you think, Dr. Khan?
Yes, in fact, I have arranged to see his parents tonight.
Oh, good. Well, it's home for you tomorrow, young man. But before you go, we'll have a quick whip round for a haircut. My old boss would have taken a pair of scissors to him himself, you know.
Thank you, sister.
Morning.
Ah, Mr. Lucas.
Could I have a look at the ECG? Yes. Well, the problem's purely medical now, isn't it? You've asked the medical team to see him, have you?
Yes, Mr. Cooper.
Good. No. Don't bother him now. Later, perhaps.
Morning, Mr. Cooper.
Ah, good morning, Mr. Slingsby. And how are you today?
Oh, not bad for a redundant dumper driver, not bad.
Well, let's see. What road was it you built again?
The M4, sir.
Oh, you call that a road, do you? Well, let's have a look at you, shall we?
Oh, well, doesn't seem to be much wrong with that now, does there?
No. No, indeed.
I still have to keep reminding them, Mr. Cooper.
Reminding them?
Well, in case they forget the safety pin.
I don't think they'd do that, Mr. Slingsby.
Well, I don't want that tube disappearing back inside me. I mean, I've got enough trouble with my own plumbing.
Well, as you were, Mr. Slingsby. Let's press on, would you, sister?
Well, you've no idea when I might be able to go home, Mr. Cooper.
Oh, I can't say yet, Mr. Slingsby, not exactly. Why, there's no special reason, is there?
Oh, no, it's just that visiting is tiring the wife, you know. It's a long way for her to come from Wembley, and it's, well, she's not very well herself, you know. She's got hiatus hernia.
As soon as practical, Mr. Slingsby.
I think Mr. Slingsby gets a sort of, well, not exactly pleasure from his condition.
And satisfaction.
Yes.
And I think it's a front. Still, you never know how people will react, do you? He's a very courageous chap. Ah, Mr. Collins.
It's not on solids yet.
How are you today, Mr. Collins?
So.
Oh, I thought you'd be feeling better, actually.
Did you?
Yes.
Better than what?
Well, better than yesterday, better than the day before.
Ah, well, in that case, yes, I am better, but it's only relative, isn't it?
It's progress, Mr. Collins. Now, Sister tells me you're not taking any solids yet. Now, there's no reason why not, is there? Are you having any pain?
Only when I laugh. I feel like I've been cut in half.
Well, you're bound to feel sore. You had a major surgery. The bottom is no picnic.
Yes, but should I still have the pain here?
Now, where, exactly?
It's here. Well, it's like I've swallowed something and it's stuck down there.
Well, just try. A little bread and butter, a little meat, fish. What do you fancy?
It takes me all my time to get liquids done.
Why did we operate on you, Mr. Collins? Why did we go to all the trouble of dividing the vagus?
I had an ulcer.
Which gave you pain.
I've still got the pain.
Which gave you pain and stopped you eating properly. Well, we've taken care of the ulcer. And I assure you we have. It's as neat a job as I've ever done, actually. So what are you waiting for? Fill your boots, man. Eat. You don't know what you've been missing after all these years, drowning in milk and nibbling biscuits.
I've still got the pain.
Well, do me a favor and give it a try. Mr. Collins?
But are you sure that the stitches will stand it, are you?
Oh, that's what's worrying you, is it? Well, you have my word for it, Mr. Collins. They'll stand it. They'll keep a rampaging bullock in one piece. So a little meat, fish, What do you fancy?
Why do you bother? Mr. Cooper, why do you bother?
Pardon?
Why do you bother? Cutting us up and putting us back together again. Telling us we're like new. How can we be? We're crocs. Half men, quarter men, dead men. What's the point of it, eh? What is the point of it?
Are you trying to have an argument with me, Mr. Collins?
But why do you bother? I take this hospital, it must be fairly typical. What, 70%, it's more, 80% of your patients are all old men and women past their prime. Yet you go on patching them up as if they were trousers.
You're saying we shouldn't bother at all, are you, Mr. Collins? Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying spend the money on the healthy. Let the old and the crocs fade away. It makes good economic sense.
Well, I don't deal in economics, Mr. Collins. And I'm not God. I can't decide who's a crock and who isn't a crock, who's worth saving and who's not worth saving. I'm a surgeon. And surgery is about the quality of life as well as its sanctity. I mean, we can't hope to cure everyone, but we can ease their pain and remove some of the discomfort. We can give a man back his dignity. It's not easy to be dignified when you're in pain. Besides which, we learn a lot from treating the old. It comes in very useful when you have to treat the young.
Why treat anybody?
Well, why treat you, then? I mean, nobody forced you to come in here and have your operation, did they? Nobody strapped you to a stretcher. Mind you, you could be dead by now with a burst gastric ulcer.
I'd be better off dead.
Now, you don't mean that, Mr. Collins.
Don't I?
You're always trying to shock, aren't you? To provoke. Look, try and get some solids down you, there's a good chap. Get your strength back. Make you feel better. Oh, I tell you what would do him good, sister. That's a glass of stout now and then. My God, he's got a chip on his shoulder, hasn't he?
You can say that, yes.
Direct opposite of Mr. Slingsby. How do the nurses cope with him, sister?
Not very well, I'm afraid.
Yes, I'm not surprised.
Thus,
Morning, Mr. Challoner. Welcome back to the land of the living. There's not much use in talking to him. He's about ready for discharge, is he?
Aftercare is a problem. He lives alone.
So back he'll come again like a rubber ball. It's a hopeless situation. It's rather proving Mr. Collins' point.
Mr. Cooper, Mr. Johnson, the orthopedic surgeon asked you to have a look at him.
Oh, yes, of course. Hello, Mr. Johnson.
Hello, sir.
How are you? Now then. Yes, any more pains in the stomach?
Well, I have just a few, sir, after the exercises.
Well, what about this leg? Have they cured that yet?
Oh, I think it's coming on, sir. I've got a bit of a backache now, though. I suppose it's being on my back all the time, not used to it. Been active all my life.
Yes, probably. Well, look, can you lift the leg at all? Oh, that's very good. Yes, OK, relax. Fine, fine. Now, could you do it once more? I'll give you a little assistance at this end. Ready? And... yeah. Hello, what's this? This isn't supposed to be me, by any chance, is it? Or Dr. Khan?
I don't think so, Mr. Cooper.
Somebody's been pulling your leg, Mr. Johnson. They painted a face on your foot.
So that's what's been going on. I thought there was something.
Yes. Perhaps everybody should have one, and we could hold an exhibition. You know, I think it does look a bit like me. Or perhaps it's Mr. Collins.
That's Cooper's car. Swish. He's a character, isn't he? Not stuck up like some of them.
It's diabolical money he gets compared with us.
Oh, put another record on, Ruth. He's very good at his job. Everyone says so. Did you hear what Collins was going on about this morning?
No.
He told Cooper it was all a waste of time.
Did he?
What we're all doing. Sort of like the King's horses and all the King's men.
Hey, come again.
Putting Humpty Dumpty together again. Only why bother if he's too old and past it, as he mostly is. According to Collins.
No, you think sometimes we're working in a geriatrics ward. Gives me the pip. The clever clogs Cooper put him straight.
He had a go.
I hate it when patients get all grateful for what we do. It embarrasses me. But somebody like Collins being deliberately cantankerous...
It's as though he hates us for helping him.
He's a bit of a psycho, if you ask me. Anyway, don't let him get you down.
He does get me down.
As far as I'm concerned, he gets ignored. I don't like mooners. We've enough to put up with as it is. Anyway, it's all in the mind.
You're hard, you are. You know, I really think he meant it when he asked me to get him those sleeping pills.
Well, you won't be told, will you, Longhurst? Ignore him. He'll soon come round if he has to sing for his supper once or twice. I've seen it happen before.
But nursing isn't about ignoring people, Ruth. I'd never have been a nurse if I thought that.
Look, there's some people here just can't help. It's a fact. You seeing Roy tonight?
If he rings,
he will.
Then I'll be seeing him.
Can you take anything for bunions?
Oh, shut up about your rotten bunions.
See, you're not interested in me. Oh, I'd like to give it a big kick.
Oh, you can have principles.
Yours aren't principles.
Well, what are they then?
You're just emotional.
Oh, look at her. What about have a toffee Khan? Did he give you one, by the way?
No.
Did he? Should I be doing temperatures, sister?
Please, but in a minute.
What do you want me to do, sister?
Is that apron clean, nurse? I've been meaning to ask you
well,
that.
I didn't get a clean one back from the laundry, sister.
That laundry gets worse. Before we do the dressing, see that Mr. Rose takes his salt bath. I've an idea he's not bothering.
Yes, sister.
Nurse Longhurst,
Sister?
were you responsible for Mr. Johnson's foot?
No, sister.
No, sister?
Well, you ought to have spotted it anyway, before Mr. Cooper. Nurse Furbank. You're not very good liars, either of you. That'll do.
Thank you, sister.
Oh, Nurse Longhurst.
Sister?
I've had a word with your tutor, and she agrees that you should... Ward 14. Yes, Dr. Cowan. Yes. How many?
What? She wants me to pick another case history.
Well, she's doing you a favour.
I won't be beaten.
Oh, emotional and stubborn.
Sister's got a toffee on her desk.
I didn't see it.
No.
Salt bath for you, Mr. Rose. I'm just drawing it.
Temperature, please.
The pain, it was terrible. You know, just here where they made the cut. And I kept being sick.
Oh, dear. I thought I'd had it.
Well, the wife was sure of it. Especially when Mr. Cooper said he wanted me in here right away. Oh, I was in the theatre the next day with him pushing this tube inside me. Oh, he doesn't mess about, does Mr. Cooper. I'll say that for him.
Excuse me. Will you please stop talking about your rotten stomach or I'll... Look, just belt up, will you? You may find it interesting, but I find it bloody revolting, so shut up, all right?
Temperature, please,
into
Mr.
him?
Slingsby.
Did you hear that, Nurse Longhurst? He's crackers, he is. He's crackers.
Either that or he's just a big, soft old Nelly.
Now, Mr. Slingsby.
Temperature, please, Mr. Smith. Who's winning?
Nothing to say for yourself. Makes a change, doesn't it? Well, someone had to shut him up. I asked you to, didn't I? Didn't I, nurse?
Yes, you did.
Did you do it? No, you didn't, did you, nurse?
I couldn't do anything. You can't stop him talking.
Oh, can't you just? A well-placed hatchet right between the eyes. One condition he can't yak on about.
Mr. Collins, what is the matter?
Hmm?
I said, what is the matter?
Him and his wretched body. And Cooper talks about dignity. How can a man have any dignity with a length of rubber tubing inside of him, Eh? Question, nurse. If you had to choose between losing your mind and losing your legs, which would you choose?
I don't know.
Well, you can forget about your mind. You stay with your legs. They can carry you up Snowdon, walk you into a pub, dance you round a maypole. Illness. It's obscene.
I wouldn't know about that.
You wouldn't know? What? Working in here? What, in this charnel house? Well, you're up to your eyes in it.
But you don't notice.
Don't notice? What, are you blind or something? Ah, yes, that's it. All doctors and nurses are blind. They'd have to be blind, otherwise you'd go bonkers, blind as bats or stupid.
Mr. Collins,
What?
are you...
Yes, well, go on. Am I what?
Nothing. It's just that I thought you might have some kind of personal trouble, that's all. Have you?
You thought that I had some personal trouble.
Yes.
You thought. How old are you?
19.
19. 19. And you stand there glowing like a light bulb. As if all it needed to put the world to rights was a smile and a suppository.
You go on like
Listen,
you
you're a child, darling. A child playing at nurses. Now, you're going to do someone some damage if you're not very careful, so go away and leave me alone.
It's just that I thought it might help to tell somebody, that's all.
You asked me what my job was.
Yes.
All right, I'll tell you. I'm an English teacher. I teach kids your age. Well, just about. Now, for the last time, go away and offer your virginity to some doctor or something, but leave me alone!
Nurse Longhurst. I'd like to speak to you, please.
You're a right basket, you are, aren't you?
Yes.
Yes, sister?
What was all that about, nurse?
I don't know.
Why was Mr. Collins shouting at you?
No reason, really.
I told you to leave him. To leave him alone, didn't I?
Yes, sister.
Why didn't you then?
I only asked him what the matter was. He'd been arguing with Mr. Slingsby.
You can't resist it, can you, nurse?
What?
Poking your nose.
I wasn't doing that. I wasn't poking my nose into anything.
What were you doing then?
Getting information for my case history.
Oh, come on. You can be honest at least. This isn't the first time we've had this. Well, is it?
Had what?
Look, why do you persist in doing it? Do you want to have to give up nursing?
No, sister.
Well, that's what'll happen if you don't know where to draw the line. Know where your job stops and meddling begins.
I wasn't meddling.
I'm only saying this for your own good, you know.
Mr. Collins is unhappy.
Apparently.
Well, isn't it just as important to send him out happy as well as cured?
You feed him, don't you? Observe him, check him, make sure he's comfortable.
Yes.
You're cheerful, friendly, willing.
I think I am.
Then that's all that can be expected of you. You're not a psychiatrist, not a social worker. You're just a nurse in the second year of your training.
But if he worries me, well, why shouldn't I take an interest in him? Well, why?
Look, take Mr. Cooper. Now, he left here this morning with what? At least 3 patients on the danger list. Now, that probably happens every week, every day sometimes. He can't leave here worried sick about each and every one of them, just as I can't. We wouldn't last a month. We'd both be in the psychiatric wing. Look, all we can do is our jobs and our best. It's the only way. Now, you've got to learn that. Keep a distance, nurse. Keep a balance.
I don't know what that means.
Well, it'd be a great pity if you can't, because you're a good little nurse. Anyway, I won't tell you again. No more truck with Mr. Collins. Well, apart from anything else, he's Mr. Collins.
But what about my case history?
You choose somebody else. Your tutor agrees, and you can have another week before you hand it in.
Yes, sister.
Right. Off you go, then.
Sorry, sister.
What's all this? Going to give me a going over with the dirty bandage, are you, sister? I told you to keep little Florence Nightingale away from me.
Mr. Collins, I have two main responsibilities as sister in charge of this ward.
You think it's a credit to you, do you, sister?
I have a responsibility to my patients. I also have a responsibility...
Ah, right. Then it's you I should have asked to shut Slingsby up and to stop Johnson from honking like a demented pig all night long.
Yes.
Right then. I am asking you. I am formally asking you for your protection against Johnson and Slingsby. In the interests of my health and strength, not to mention my nerves and my tiny mind.
Very well, Mr. Collins. I'll have a word with Mr. Slingsby. Now, I'm not quite sure what I'm supposed to say.
And what about Johnson?
Oh, that's one of the hazards of being in hospital, people snoring. Well, you might snore yourself for all you know.
Well, yes, I can see that. So, I'll settle with you speaking to Slingsby, then. Right, then. Responsibility number 2.
It's to my staff. I can't have you shouting at my nurses, Mr. Collins.
Can't you?
Particularly the student nurses. Especially when they're only trying to help you.
Help me? Nurse Longhurst? She's not a nurse, she's a bloody teeny bopper.
Don't swear, please, Mr. Collins. It's bad manners.
All I did was sort little Nurse Longhurst out. Her job is to shake the pillows and dish out the porridge.
Do 100 other things.
Not to straighten out my personality. That's a pretty hairy business. There's no job for a light bulb.
Pardon?
Oh, forget.
You're right, of course, Mr. Collins. Your personal problems are no concern of Nurse Longhurst. Or of me. Only in your case, her interest happened to be rather special.
How do you mean, special?
Well, she'd done you the honour of picking you as her case history.
What?
Her case history. The students have to do them on selected patients as part of their training. And they make notes on the operation, the treatment, etc., and they try to get to know the patient. Then they write it all up.
Why did she pick on me?
She couldn't help herself.
Explain.
She has a soft spot for misfits.
I'm not a misfit.
Oh, you are, Mr. Collins, believe me. 9 out of 10 patients in this hospital give us very little trouble. They quietly suffer pain and discomfort. They even die quietly. We don't even know we have them. But not you, Mr. Collins. You've complained and sulked from the minute you arrived.
With good reason.
What reason? You've had the undivided attention of a very good hospital, although I do say it myself. And a very good surgeon, too. What more do you want? Oh, come on, Mr. Collins. You're not a child. You don't have to get sulky with me. I think you owe us an explanation of your selfish manner and behaviour.
Case history. Oh, God. Is she very upset, little Miss Lightbulb?
What do you think?
Oh, it wasn't her I was getting at. It never is. It's me I don't like very much. You see, sister, I've made what you call a mess of things. A marriage. A job. Even the kids at school can't stand my cotton-picking guts. It's this, you see. It's, well, it's very articulate, too articulate, in fact. All the ungenerous thoughts that you and other people keep up in their noodles, me, I communicate them. I can't help myself. But it doesn't help to win friends or influence people. And then my body has to go and let me down. A sickly man. It's a contradiction in terms. Oh, God, if I finish up like any...
There's no reason why you should, Mr. Collins.
Oh, isn't there?
And try and be a bit more diplomatic in future. Please. Well, I can stand bad manners till the cows come home. But then I'm not 19 with a career ahead of me.
Give you a good ticking off, did she? And about time, too, if you ask me.
Shut up, Slingsby, or I'll pull your everlasting tube out and choke you with it.
You basket.
Where's Nurse Longhurst?
Gone down to pharmacy, sister.
You're in her share of flat, don't you?
That's right, sister.
Funny girl.
Heart's in the right place, though.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm glad that's over with.
I'll say.
Had a look at the rota this afternoon. I'm on nights next.
Oh?
With my final exams coming up. Well, you're not going to pull that face all night, are you?
Thought Roy would ring.
Well, he didn't. He'll be a spinster for once, like me.
I've just seen have a toppy calm.
So have I. And he gave me a humbug.
You know who I'm going to do my case history on?
Who?
Mr. Challoner.
Are you joking? He's got twice as many hang-ups as Collins. And he's 90 years old as well.
So?
With a living end here.